Should I have intimate relationships on the first date? Part 1. Have you asked yourself this question at least once in your lifetime? I have to admit that I have asked myself this question, and in my case the answer was, but you'll find my answer at the end of this video, so keep watching till the end. It's a polarizing yet personal dilemma. Should you have sex on the first date? Sleeping with someone on the first date remains a personal decision for you to make. If you're searching for this theme and if you're listening to this video, it means that you are adult. Therefore, let's act as adults and realize that the world is more than just black and white. If you want a long-lasting love relationship, the overwhelming response to the question, should I have sex on the first date, you've no doubt received is no. You should absolutely not. For we women, you see, should have more self-respect than so frivolously being intimate with another human being. Every woman and every man is valuable, and it should have nothing to do with who, when, and how she or he is sexually engaged with, but with their choice. It is your personal choice what to do regarding this theme. There are many deeper, unintended consequences to having sex on the first date, not just for women, but also for men. Albeit less for men due to their masculine biology, but more on that later. In fact, there are many studies suggesting that women are more likely to regret sex on the first date than men. What do you suppose men sacrifice when they sleep around a lot? I'll tell you more about this theme in my future videos, so keep watching my future videos to find out about sex on the first date from men's perspective. In this video, I'll speak more for women regarding sex on the first date. Before I go any farther, know that I am Alice, dating and relationship coach, and if you're liking what you are hearing, then please subscribe on my YouTube channel and please send this video to someone who might benefit from my message. Doing like this, you can make this channel grow. I really appreciate you for your support. I'm not here to judge you if you choose to have sex on the first date. I'm not here to tell you if it's wrong or bad. You're not a child anymore, and the framework of good versus bad has perhaps outlived its usefulness. As an adult, as a woman, you need to realize that there are real consequences to your actions. Sometimes these consequences are not immediate and completely unintended. So instead of asking where is good or bad, it's much better to have a deeper understanding of the real consequences of being intimate on the first date. There is a real and sometimes invisible cost to women who have sex on the first date, and that is what I will deep dive into. Remember, a wise woman is not one full of rules, but rather one who understands the consequences of her actions, as the coach 𝐒𝐻 says. The more a man is eagerly looking to sleep around the lower quality woman, which means low mate value, he has to establish and to settle for in this act. From psychological point of view and from my point of view as a woman, first of all, I always offer my suggestion to women regarding this question, should I have sex on the first date or not? Of course that every human being has to decide for herself or for himself, and please make your own personal decision and follow my suggestion only after you filter it through your own thinking. My suggestion is never ever have sex on the first date if you want a healthy, long-lasting love relationship. This is my personal opinion, and I suggest you to not let yourself be misled by nowadays movies, by books, by new scientific discovery that says that it's okay to have sex on the first date. there are so many reasons why I suggest you not to have sex on the first dates. You'll find out about these reasons immediately, so don't go anywhere because I'll be back with psychological reasons and proofs that explains my suggestion. Should I have intimate relationships on the first date? Part 1. One of the reasons why I do not recommend you to have sex on the first date is that it is in the DNA of a woman to be emotional, and for the psychological health of a human being, but especially for the psychological health of a woman, sex should always come only after the emotional and the mental intimacy is built, and this requires time and many dates. I totally agree with Professor of Psychology and clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson, who says that we should never extract sex out of the emotional intimacy. Only after an emotional intimacy, a mental intimacy is built between the two partners, only then allow yourself to have also the physical intimacy. If you, the woman that is watching me right now, have intercourse with someone last night, and it was good last night, but if you regret it today, if you feel used for what you did last night, if you feel ashamed, if you have a low self-esteem, if you feel guilty, if you feel needy after sex, then that is the clear evidence that it's not good to have sex on the first date. And if you mistaken this time, never ever repeat this mistake again. I give you a very important advice. Don't do anything physically that you would not talk to them, because if you are too damn embarrassed to talk about sex, then it's premature in the relationship to actually have sex. There is emotional harm in it if you cannot talk about it. If the woman has already established an emotional connection, a mental connection, then she feels secure during sex and she offers more love to her partner. Generally speaking, if a woman has sex on the first date, she feels needy. And if her sex partner just leaves her and doesn't call her the second day if he doesn't want a relationship with her, she feels used and she can even hate him for that. This can lead to a trauma for that woman. She can even start to hate all men because she thinks that all men just have sex and they leave women without caring about them. She can even want to never be with a man because she can think that all men are equal, that all men are disrespectful to women, and this is not true. There are so many good men out there. As a psychologist, I have many women clients that have many traumas because they have had sex on the first dates, because now they believe that all men are disrespectful to women, but these traumas could have been avoided if that woman would have chosen not to sleep with a man from the first date, if the man would have been sincere and said that he just wants to have sex, that he does not want a committed relationship with that woman. Another way we can think about it is generally assumed among the male community that high reproductive value women are extremely hard to hook up with in comparison to lower mate value women. What is the one specific emotional trigger within every single man in this world that inspires him to want to commit to one woman, want to take care of her, worship her, and only her? It's her value. It's the fact that he feels that that specific woman is special, is different from all the other women he had met before. But I'll tell you more about this subject in my future videos. If that man really likes you and if he really wants a committed relationship with you, then he will wait for you to make love to you whenever you are ready for this. A valuable man will respect you even more for not having sex on the first dates because he will consider you even more valuable. You know why? Because you are being selective, because you are waiting and possibly being exclusive with him. Because by not sleeping with him from the first date, you will prove him that you did the same with all the other men in the past. Because by not sleeping with him from the first date, you will prove him that you will act the same with other potential men that will try to conquer you in the future. You will be more valuable for a man if you do not have intercourse with him from the first dates, because you know how to master your primal instincts. If you can control your basic instincts, your impulsive desires, and if you do not have sex with him on the first date, even if he is so attractive, this tells him that you are a valuable woman that can control her primal instincts also in other situations. From the psychological point of view and from my point of view, a woman should develop and should know her own values, first of all for herself. Having moral principles, developing a beautiful mind, a beautiful soul, a beautiful body means having value. A woman that is selective and exclusive has even more value. From the point of view of intimate relationships, a woman that does not sleep with a stranger that she has just met on her first date is selective and it's exclusive, and because of these traits, this woman is more valuable than other women. When some girls, my clients, come to me and they say, I gave the guy what he wanted, I slept with him from our first date, why didn't he call me after that? I tell them, you gave his impulsive libido what it wanted. You didn't wait to create a connection with his mind. You didn't wait to see if there could be an emotional connection between the two of you. You established a sexual relationship, but maybe you sacrificed the possibility of being attractive to his more mature self, to his sophisticated self. Maybe you sacrificed a long-term relationship. Are you willing to sacrifice a possible long-term relationship because you cannot say no to the man that asks for self from the first date? Jordan Peterson says that he doesn't think there's anything more attractive to a man than a sophisticated woman who knows how to say no to a man's request to have sex on the first date. She says no because she knows her value, because she wants to connect better emotionally, mentally. If he goes away because she refused him, it means that he didn't want a committed relationship. So she lost nothing by saying no to him. If he would have wanted a committed relationship, he would have waited for her until she would have been ready for intimate relationships. In the end, she doesn't lose anything by refusing him, because he would have left anyway after having sex and she would have been felt used. Anyway, a valuable woman has other options and she can choose a valuable man that respects her when she says no to him. So a woman that says no to sex on the first date keep her value and she does not lose anything, because the man that left when she said no would have left anyway, but after destroying her feelings, after making her felt used, ashamed, guilty. My dear sophisticated women, have your own boundaries and communicate your boundaries to the man you are dating with from the first time. Don't be afraid to communicate your boundaries, because boundaries will make him respect you even more. Watch my future videos, because I'll teach you, woman, how to say no in a pleasant way to a man that asks for self, but you are not yet prepared to have intimate relationships with that man. Today, sex is everywhere, and sex can be obtained much more easily than 100 years ago. That is why you women that are watching me right now, be special, be different than all the other women. Do not offer sex to everybody that is asking for it, because you should be selective. You women should be exclusive and have sex only with the man that waits for the moment when you are ready to have sex, that covers most of your needs, that connects with you emotionally, mentally, Are you sure that all this is only about the man and not about us as women? Yeah, there are total losers out there who manipulate, abuse, and try to take advantage of women. And we have all heard stories about them or even experienced crap with them. But this doesn't mean that we should pull the morality card and tell men to have better morals. Maybe they are different creatures. They do not own the womb. You do. You're the woman. You have the womb. As such, how you feel surrounding no strings attached sex is different to how he may feel. So we can't just ask only men to take responsibility. The only time we can come close to doing that is if we've already established emotional connection and emotional attraction with him. But why isn't this just about only men taking responsibility? You might choose to take responsibility for when and how you have sex. Women simply risk paying a price for having sex before enough attraction and commitment has been established. If you don't rush into sex and instead give things time, you have a better chance of building an actual emotional connection and attachment with him. When you do that, you test a man for whether he will stick around or not. If everything is rushed and the process of building a real connection is shortcut, then you risk being ghosted and abandoned by him. If instead you focus on connection and attraction, you are doing great things for yourself. You will give the man a chance to be tested to see if he is willing to invest himself. I can teach you some real tests for commitment if you follow my future videos. If you're a woman who's not interested in a man's commitment, it is still important to consider how having sex on the first date or having casual sex affects how you show up in the future. What do women sacrifice when they have sex quickly? According to scientific research reported in the book Social Psychology and Human Sexuality, women potentially sacrifice their reputation and risk being viewed as having lower mate quality. Of course, we don't live in tribes of 100 or more any longer, so reputation damage isn't as real a threat to females as it may have been many years ago. Women can drive from this city to another city and sleep with many men and then can drive back home and not risk any damage to their reputation. Don't you think? However, 3 risk factors of sleeping on the first date or unattached sex still remains for most women. Unattached sex often means one of many. Once we do something, regardless of whether we don't ever tell anyone we did it, our neurology has experienced it and something internally still drove us to make these choices. If we mainly practice unattached sex, then as women, our body and our mind pay the price. This is because we become numbed to our emotions, surroundings, wanting a deeper investment from the man. But becoming numb to our emotions will actually cause us to detach more and be less able to inspire a man to feel deep emotional attraction for us. Equally important is the fact that this habit of numbness, if continued over time, also destroys our chances of getting a man to emotionally attach to us. It's important to mention that our detachment and the accompanying numbness could also be related to past trauma or your own attachment style. If you're not 100% sure what your core attachment style is, I recommend you to find out, because your core attachment style largely dictates and influences what happens in your relationship. Thus, it's imperative for you to understand your core attachment style. And I'll help you because I'll offer you more information about core attachment style in my future videos, so keep watching. Is it possible that there are invisible consequences of being a progressive modern woman? A lot of women are only having sex on the first date or casual sex because they think it's part of being a modern woman, without considering the invisible personal consequences of doing so. If we engage in sex on the first date and in casual sex because we are avoiding the deeper parts of ourselves that truly want to surrender in total emotional trust to a trustworthy man, our body can, over time, train to send messages to men that we are the one of many, rather than the one and only. And all men naturally categorize the woman they met into one of these categories based on how the woman shows up. As we know, what we practice persists. Our body language doesn't die and doesn't lie. High-value men looking to devote themselves will be able to read what a woman is all about through our body faster than we get the opportunity to verbally tell them anything about ourselves. I know it's not nice to hear it, but no matter how uneasy we feel inside, because we would turn down most men. What our bodies practice becomes the energy we send out. Our reputation spreads fast. Men talk to each other when they get sex easily. I have a theory about this. I theorize that maybe men do this gossiping about sex, about easy sex, to warn each other, but also to brag about it. Just like women gossip about jerks who make bad or abusive boyfriends, men spread pictures, videos, and gossip about women they have sex on the first date or they have casually slept with. This is possibly because on the primal level in our tribal days, this information was crucial to the future reproductive safety of all men. But why? Because it warns other men not to invest their resources in the women they have gossiped about, since paternity cannot be determined in the tribal days. Paternity meaning no one really knows who the father of the child is, since the woman hasn't established trust and commitment with one steady guy or doesn't seem to have. So just as women in a certain context protect each other from low-value mates of the opposite sex, men do the same in their own way. Paternity is serious business. For a man, incredible humiliation and life-destroying emotions can be felt surrounding finding out that the child is not his. The possibility that he might have unknowingly invested time, money, effort, and resources into another man's offspring is heart-wrenching and soul-destroying. In fact, I've noticed a scary phenomenon. Men tend to get more insensitive to the women they get easy sex from. The women who have sex because she doesn't know what else value to add to man. Perhaps also the woman who thinks giving a man sex is the most important thing to give, which is not. In other words, some men become more disrespectful and insensitive towards the woman that they get easy sex from. If you watch my videos, you'd have heard that one thing not to do in dating is to overtly seek a man's approval, because it's a sign of low value. This can be in the same ballpark as making sex easily accessible. As a reminder to us all of the potential consequences of having sex on the first date or having casual sex without trust and commitment in the relationship, remember that men may spread lies about women whom they have easy sex with. Women sacrifice their true nature for sex on the first date or for casual sex sometimes. What I mean is, women are not biologically inclined to have sex with men that they don't trust, to quote Michaela Boehm. If women are having sex on the first date or easy sex with men that they are highly attracted to, which means a man who does show up as capable and trustworthy, then the danger might be that she really does love him and want a commitment. But by then, the danger for a woman is that he could have categorized her as one of many women already, depending on how she's showed up, of course. If she's had sex early, but she's showed up as his one and only, then there's no problem for the woman. The deal is already sealed. But if a woman has not done that, then she could really find herself hurt. And if she finds herself hurt and possibly regretful about sex with him based on the reaction that she wasn't attuned to where the man was at. She wasn't aware of how he really felt about her and whether he truly had any feelings or good intentions for her or not. Remember, men can keep you around for years without wanting anything serious with you and then suddenly disappear when they fall in love with their one and only. Here's why. Sometimes we really have to wait to have sex with a man until enough emotional attraction has been built up, which is the reliable sign that it's okay to go ahead. So that it gives him time to show whether he's not really interested in anything more than sex, or alternatively, that he is interested in taking the relationship farther. Another reason why it's not good to have sex on the first date is that one date isn't enough to prove that they are a stable, reliable person. One date with a person, no matter how well it goes, isn't enough to prove that they are a stable, reliable human who will show up time and time again, says Dr. 𝐒𝐲 𝐈, PhD, a clinical psychologist and author of Dr. 𝐒𝐲's 10 Commandments of Dating. For that reason, if you want a long-lasting love relationship, you may want a few more dates with this person to understand whether they're worth your time. Steve Harvey speaks about the 90-day rule, where he recommends to date a man for 90 days, but no sex during those initial 90 days. It may seem like a long time to go without sex, especially for your man, but this time is not a test of willpower. 3 months gives you enough time to experience many different scenarios with your man, so you can get a good grasp of who he is. 90 days is enough time to weed out the imposters from the real thing, and you're looking for the real man, aren't you? When you set boundaries and continue having your life, the times you are together become more meaningful and focused on getting to know each other better. Another reason why you should not have sex on the first date is the psychological fact that we appreciate much more things that we work so hard to achieve them. When you work hard for something, you appreciate it more. When you put some effort to have a relationship with someone, we think it's valuable. When a man has to offer his time, his energy, his money, has to prove his character to a woman, because he does these efforts, he will appreciate that woman much more when they'll make love. We always appreciate persons that we work hard to have them in our lives. Another reason for which I recommend you not to have sex on the first date is that sex always creates an emotional bond between prospective partners, especially for women. For many people, having sex leads to emotional feelings. Women release oxytocin after sleeping with someone, which makes them feel more bonded to their partner. Men release testosterone, which makes them want to hunt. If you're a solid match in other ways, there's no reason why they won't want to hunt with you, but generally men hunt with you only after an emotional and mental connection is formed. So women, especially women, do yourself a favor and do never ever have sex on the first date, nor on the second date, but have sex when you feel that there are compatibilities between the two of you, when you feel that there is true emotional and mental connection. Don't let yourself mislead by some new research that is questioning this message, suggesting sex on the first date may actually have benefits in the long run for forming an emotional bond between prospective partners. This science doesn't cover that the connection can then be harder to break when you discover you're not at all that compatible partners in the long run, when you actually get to know each other better. It's got it right that sex enhances a relationship, but isn't it better to have that experience once you're a little more certain you want that person to be significant in your life on more than a physical level? In conclusion, my dear elegant and intelligent ladies, it is your personal choice to have or not to have sex on the first dates. But I'm answering to the initial question, and I tell you that I personally would never ever have sex on the first dates. And I recommend you all women, if you want a happy, long-lasting love relationship, to never ever have sex on the first date, no matter how attractive the man is or no matter how good is the connection on the first date. Despite the fact that we have reliable birth control, sex does not work very well outside the committed relationship. If you want to have a healthy, long-lasting love relationship, follow my videos called How to Find Your Compatible Lover, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. My personal advice: be unique, be different, be special, so that you make the person you are dating with, that you are married with, insatiable for you. My love for you, insatiable. If you subscribe to this channel, you will motivate me to create videos with even better content. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, L is the key of your relationship. Like and share this video to people who might need it. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I can't wait to see you in my future videos. Kisses! Goodbye!